Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are all good. I am back using this mold from previous video. You would have seen it Saturday the 4th and Monday the 6th. I used this beautiful perfume bottle mold I found on Amazon. It is a stunner. It is by Stamperia and I made this tray. If you missed it, go back and check it out. But in today's video, we are doing something I absolutely love more than anything else in the world, and that is to create silicone inlays. And I'm going to be using the inlays today as well. This is not a two-parter, so grab your snacks, put your feet up, because oh my goodness me, I am obsessed with the results of this. So this is in collaboration with Let's Resin. I will be using the Let's Resin silicone rubber. I am an ambassador for the silicone rubber and Let's Resin. This is a two-part system, part A, B, and guys, any mold you have, at your own risk, of course, you can make silicone inlays to create different pieces as well. So again, this is Let's Resin silicone rubber, measurable by weight. So that is exactly what you see me doing here. Now, I don't know exactly how much silicone rubber this mold is going to take. So I do have a separate mold to hand if I make too much, which is standard practice for me. The best part about Let's Resin silicone rubber is that you can colour it. And I like to always colour mine with the changing seasons, right? So today's is going to be purple. If it was the summer, it would be yellow or pink. And then at Christmas, I like to make blue or red ones. So yeah, today's silicone inlays are going to be purple. I'm going to mix this thoroughly for 5 whole minutes to make sure that part A and B have been fully combined. I'm also running it through my Let's Resin bubble remover machine, which coincidentally is absolutely superb for silicone. It gets those micro bubbles out, although I do have to kind of say that the Let's Resin silicone rubber is pretty bubble free, but you will find some coming out with the machine. Now, the first thing I'm going to do here, this is optional, and hindsight is a wonderful thing. I will tell you not to bother doing this step, to be honest. If you guys remember, last year I destroyed one of my absolute favorite molds by making silicone inlays. I left it in the mold way too long, like over a couple of days, and you really need to demold it as soon as the silicone is set. And I destroyed the mold. I ripped it. I could not get the silicone inlays out. Now, silicone will bond to silicone. And so many of you told me, Claire, use talcum powder or use something along the lines of Vaseline. I didn't really want to do the Vaseline for obvious reasons. It's a bit sticky. But yeah, I figured instead of powder, I'll try this. I'll try Chameleons. So I'm using the Let's Resin Intense. I mean, look at that blue, guys. The Intense Chameleon powders. Now, again, this is optional because A, did it help? Yes, it absolutely helped. These silicone inlays popped out, and I mean popped out. But B, it rubbed off. The Chameleon powder did rub off the silicone inlays. So basically the silicone doesn't grab the mica like resin would, right? So did it help save my molds? Absolutely yes. So I've mixed my silicone. I've dusted the bottles that I want. I don't like all of the bottles in this mold. I did mention that in a previous video. I've also dusted the moth just in case I get too much silicone, if I've made too much silicone. So I'm pouring from quite high up, like around about 1 foot off the desk, 2 foot off the desk, just to even help the silicone even more, knock itself out with the bubbles. And then I'm just filling them up. I'm not too worried at this stage about filling them right to the very top like I would with epoxy resin, right? Because we're using these as inlays, so I therefore do not want them to be spilling out over the sides, and I definitely do not want them to be domed. So luckily I had just enough to create these and a little bit left. So I'm using another one of the Let's Resin Chameleons just to dust this moth, and we're going to get that filled. And guys, when I tell you, I was so excited because when I demolded these, they had picked up the color, right? They'd picked it up. So like, don't get me wrong, they pick up the color. It's just that they don't embed. The silicone doesn't embed itself in the color, right? So when I demolded these, I was like, these are the most beautiful inlays I've ever seen in my life. And then I suddenly went to use them and I was like, why are my hands this color? And then it was only then I realized, oh, powder. Okay, the chameleon powder doesn't actually stay, it rubs off. But it's all good because you can just lay them down in your resin and they're pre-coloured. And that colour's just going to come out in your resin. So it was actually a really handy thing to happen. At the end of the day, for me, protecting the mould was key. It was the most important thing in the world. So if it means I then have to clean the inlays afterwards with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol or just some soapy water, a wet wipe, you know, it will come off. So this is the next morning, first thing in the morning, and they came out like a dream. The best way for me to get inlays out, and I would say the same for you as well, is just gently bend back your mold and just let it kind of peel out itself. You know, you've got that angle and it's just coming out like a dream. And this was stunning. I was like, oh my goodness, Claire, this is so beautiful. It's like purple on one side, green on the other. How gorgeous is this? That silicone rubber gets into every single incy teeny tiny detail of that intricate mold. Honestly, every nook and cranny, that silicone takes care of it. So really fantastic silicone if you're looking to make silicone molds or if you're looking to make silicone inlays from the molds that you already have. Look at these. Oh my gosh, stunning. Absolutely stunning. Okay, we're going to move on to the bottles. The bottles, again, you can see it just popped out. So easy. The actual chameleon powder, for the most part, was removed from the mold. So that is why I thought they would permanently be this stunning, intense blue from the chameleon powders from Let's Resin. I just thought they'd be that. But yeah, it didn't take long before my hands and like were going blue and everything around me was going blue. And then I went to put them down in the project and I was like, where's all that colour coming from? But guys, how stunning are they? Like, it's ridiculous. It's actually, you know, chameleon powder, I will never get my head around the alchemy of chameleon powder. And when I see things like this, I'm just like, stop. That's so beautiful. Like, get a tear in my eye. Like, that's so beautiful. It's so pretty. But again, this mold, stunning. They've all come out absolutely spectacular. But again, don't get too excited about that chameleon powder because it literally wipes off. It literally wipes off. It's all good. We've all learned something here today. If you did not already know that, you are very welcome. I was so happy. Like, honestly, making silicone inlays, if you are new here, hello. I absolutely love making silicone inlays from molds like this that I've already got, and then you can use them for an array of different things, right? You can obviously make your castings, but then making silicone inlays just opens up more avenues. So yeah, super squishy silicone, love. You can see here, blue on one side, purple on the other, but again, that doesn't last. It took a minute. It took a minute for the colour to start rubbing off. Okay, let's get on with the project. We are using the Let's Resin Epoxy Resin, of course, and we are mixing it. It's measurable AB 1:1, and again, mixing it up. I'm using this gorgeous large round druzy mold from Molds and Shapes. I'm using some stars and moon sequins, and I am simply putting them down around the outside edge of that druzy edge. Now, I really want that druzy edge to be super sparkly diamond-esque, so I am not adding any color whatsoever into this edge or onto the base of the tray. This tray is going to be all about those inlays and what I'm going to do with those inlays, right? So you can see top right hand corner, you can see that bottle has already started changing color because I realized at this point it was just coming off on the mold. I had to clean the mold because I was like, why is the mold turning blue? Around that druzy edge, I'm just putting in some cut mirror glass. I did say I'm not putting any color in, but I am putting in some cut mirror glass just to add to that reflective yumminess and add to the sparkly diamond nature of the edge. And I think because I'm going down the route that I'm going down, it's just going to lend itself better to it. It's going to give it even more sparkle. What I do not want is any of those mirror cut diamond glass pieces on the surface. I don't want them there. So I do spend a bit of time taking as many as I can get off, taking them all off. If there are some, just just a little bit of scattering around the edges, that's absolutely fine, but I don't want the big chunky hunky pieces. So I cleaned it off, and then I finished filling the mould. Not all the way. I finished filling it enough to handle the inlays. Next up, I'm using my heat gun, my brand new heat gun that I absolutely love, with the silicone protection around the tip. This is also from Let's Resin. Again, all of your Let's Resin codes are down below, and all of your resin needs are met by Let's Resin. So the details are down below. Just giving this a really, really good blast of heat. I want this resin to be as crystal clear as possible. This is when I sprayed the inlay with alcohol to avoid air bubbles, and I did not realize the color hadn't fully embedded in the silicone. So yeah, it's just one of those things. And it just looked a bit sketchy, but it was at this point I realized, right, I am going to end up with some of this blue Chameleon powder in my project now. Like I could spend the time cleaning each and every inlay to within an inch of its life, getting all that powder off, but I thought, you know what, the color works. Thank goodness I used blue and not a color that I didn't want. So I at this point was happy in the knowledge that we are going blue. We're going with the blue theme because I know that that powder is going to come off in the resin. So I am simply placing the inlays down in the epoxy resin, and I'm not spraying any more of them with alcohol, because what I don't want is for that blue color to bleed out into my resin. I'm just going to let them lay there, let them sit. We're going with 5 bottles straight across the center because, guys, odd numbers matter. 3 or 5. We're going with 5. And yeah, I'm just babysitting them for a while. I'm hanging out. I'm hanging around. And at the end, I decided to add in the inlay that I just made. Now, I've made so many inlays the last few years being a silicone rubber ambassador. I've made a lot of inlays. So I grabbed loads that I made last Halloween to see if any of these would work. And I did decide to grab a pair of wings, because why not? It's Halloween. We can pretty much do what we want at the end of the day. So I grabbed this pair of wings, which are my favorite pair of wings out of all the wing molds, and I just put them in at the top. And this was really just to fill space. Like, I didn't want a void. I didn't want a big void at the top. I just wanted to fill the space, but not, you know, overfill and overpack it out and overcrowd it. And I think this is a gorgeous combo. We've got some perfume bottles, aka witches apothecary potion bottles, which is what we're using them for. And we've got the moth at the bottom and the wings at the top. Everything is neat. Everything is symmetrical, evenly placed. This video was planned, guys. This was definitely not just a chuck it all in and hope for the best. This was a you better still be in that position when I come back in the morning. So this is the next day. It's time to demold. You can already see that blue has come off in the resin, which we knew it would. So that's absolutely fine. And I'm just going to play well along with it. I'm going to roll with it, go with that color theme. And we are going to grab the Let's Resin Intense Blue powder back out and fill them in even more now. Could I just take a casting of the bottles in the blue Chameleon? Yes I could, and lay them in the resin. Absolutely, yes I could. You can do it any way round you want. I just find it handy because the silicone inlays are with me over and over and over and over and over again. Then instead of making more and more and more castings, I don't have to. I've got the inlays right there. So like I said, this is the intense blue. We're just going to fill them all in again because the perfume bottle did lose quite a lot of its colour, and so that's all I'm really doing. I'm filling them back in. I'm also adding a little bit more of that colour to the other perfume bottles and into the wings and into the moth. Now, you can at this point, if you want, go wild and add all of the colours that you want. But I like same. I do like same. When it comes to a project like this, I like the repetitive nature of the same colour because I know what angle and what route I'm taking in this particular project. So I know that all blue is going to work with the end result. Now at this point, all I want to do is fill up those inlay cavities. So I am mixing up some 2-part black polyurethane instead of epoxy resin. This is purely for speed. This is a 30-second mix, 30 minutes till it's cured, and I know that I can then lay down the second layer of the Let's Resin resin in 30 minutes, right? It saves me having to wait hours. I don't want any of that black to come out and in to my clear resin. So it's so important that it's cured. And this is where I messed up. Like, I just don't know why. Why can't I just do something first time and it be neat? Like, I don't know, guys. Firstly, the polyurethane started to cure on me and it started to set in the cup and I wasn't quick enough. I made such a mess. The resin was pouring out of the bottles. I had to scrape it up. I had to wipe it up, scrape it up. I've scratched the epoxy resin and I'm really and truly hoping at this stage it doesn't impact the end results. And great news, it does not. At the time I was crying. I was like, come on, I've put so much work into this already. So at this stage, we're not filling up the mold. Even now, we are going for a super thin layer of epoxy resin, and we are simply going to lay down some holographic foils. Now, if you're thinking, Claire, you've done this before. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I did one of my favorite ever trays last year. I made a stunning, if I do say so myself, silicone inlay tray with the exact same technique but using a different colour from the Let's Resin Chameleon range, and I loved it so much. And someone recently commented on that video and I said, oh, you know what, I'm doing that again this year, but I'm doing it bigger. I'm doing it bigger and I'm just doing it with a twist using this mould that I got from Amazon, and here we are. This is why I'm here. So again, a nice thin layer. I have got a lot of resin in this cup, and that is because I am working on multiple projects at a time. So again, using my heat gun, really going to town on this, making sure that there are absolutely no air bubbles whatsoever. Now, these are holographic foils I got from Resin. You'd know I've used these many times. They are stickers. I am not using these as stickers. I'm just going to lay them in. I'm packing them in to wet resin. I am not leaving a single gap. I want the whole of the back of this piece to be holographic foils, the entirety. So again, just laying them down. The only thing I'm really paying attention to here is making sure that no two foils are the same laying next to each other. And even then, they might be. Like I tried, and I don't know for sure if I succeeded, because I don't know, because this is voiceover Claire. I don't remember 3 weeks ago when I filmed this. So yeah, that's all I'm doing at this point. Now, if you saw that video from last year that I absolutely loved, I feel like I could have done with a little bit more of something, right? And I'm hoping that this was it, that absolutely packing the foils in there will give me the wow I need. Because guys, you're not ready for this. Honestly, my favorite thing to do. If you're new here, this is my favorite thing to do. Honestly, my favorite thing. Make inlays, foils, the dark colors, the moody colors from Let's Resin, the chameleons. I'm all about it. I'm all for it, and I'm all about it. Now, this is 8 hours later. The resin is set enough. It's not rock hard, but it's set enough for me to now fill the bag. Only I've run out of the blue. I've run out of the blue intense. So we're going in with the Let's Resin Plum Chameleon powder, which is my absolute favorite Halloween witchy go-to powder. Now, at this stage, from your angle, you can't really see much, right? But from where I'm sitting, it looks like this. Look at this. Like, it is the most perfect witchy, Halloweeny, gothic, all of the words, all of the eenies, like it's perfect. And that is the plum. Whereas from up above, you're like, is that even covering? Yes, guys. Yes, it's covering. Now, I am going to back this in epoxy resin because the resin that is in the tray right now, the resin you can see with the foils, that is not cured. It's not fully cured. It's only been 8 hours. It's still got a softness to it, but just enough to be able to handle me, you know, dusting it with Chameleon powders, right? So at this point, I don't want to put a poly on there because that resin still needs to cure properly. And I don't know if it will if I choke it out with a polyurethane that's going to cure in 30 minutes, right? I don't want to risk it. So this again is Let's Resin Epoxy Resin with black pigment dye in there to make it jet black, to make sure that that Chameleon powder pops, guys. If you did not see last year's video, you know what is about to come. You know the results that this kind of technique brings. It is beautiful. It is splendificus. It is superb. It is absolutely stunning. Okay, we're using the heat gun again. Get rid of those air bubbles. We're going to leave this to cure overnight and we are going to come back. I hope you gasp the gasp that I want you to gasp when you see this. I love it. I am immediately obsessed. Right up my street. The exact results I wanted. The exact results I was expecting because I've done this before. No words. Like, no words. The one thing it does need is a little top coat just to hide the imperfections, because laying those inlays down, they did touch the bottom of the mould, which means we've got a couple of little spots, a couple of little air bubbles. That crystal edge is next level stunning. The foils, oh my gosh. The inlays, the everything about this is me. This is my Halloween. This is my kind of project for Halloween. I thrive on this kind of thing. Put an inlay down, throw some foils over the back, Chameleon powder, intense Chameleon powder from Let's Resin. Yes, please. Thank you very much. Let's eat some cake. Like, I just love it. Let's talk about the imperfections. So there are some bubbles in here. Now, again, I laid the foils down. I thought I was doing a good job at laying them down, but you can see some big bubbles in this. We're going with glass crystal balls. That's what they are. They are glass beads intentionally placed down into the tray, right? We're not calling them mistakes because they kind of look cool. Look at this one here, giant bubble. And you can see that black dot, that is where the inlay touched the bottom of the silicone mold, right? So we've got some gaps here. It does need a top coat. Not going to do that in this video because you've seen enough top coats throughout this Halloween season to know how that's going to play out. But this is right. I mean, this is just right up my street. Absolutely right up my street. Now, that intense blue Chameleon powder from Let's Resin is stunning enough on its own in those bottles. But come down. The colour shift in that plum is, oh my gosh, marry me. Marry me. If I could marry a Chameleon powder, it would be the plum powder from Let's Resin. Now, Let's Resin, if you're watching, if you're listening, I need that in a massive pot, okay? I did check it out. I did check to see if Let's Resin sell the colours individually. I could not find them, but I need plum, okay? In a huge pot. That's my demands. No, guys, in all seriousness, I hope you love this as much as me. Like, I truly, truly love it. I love everything about it. Again, this is all in collaboration with Let's Resin, sponsored by Let's Resin. It's the Let's Resin silicone rubber that is the main attraction of today's video. Let's not forget those Let's Resin Chameleon powders because, guys, they are next level, elite, out of this world. I love it. I hope you love it. I hope you feel inspired, guys. And if you make silicone inlays, please do so at your own risk. Please do not hold me responsible for any damage to any future silicone molds. Okay, just putting it out there. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.